Hi, guys. Welcome back to Uma's Lotus Lounge, Season 4, Episode, I believe it's 7. Welcome in, everyone. Sorry, I had a little bit of a difficulty getting on here. YouTube has upgraded, which I'm very happy to say. Before, we would just have like landscape view, but now we have like landscape and profile view. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get used to that. Welcome in, everyone. For those of you that are listening to the recording, I really appreciate you guys. You know, I watch my podcast episodes, and last week we had 30 downloads for the Lotus Lounge. So thank you guys that are listening in on the recordings. I truly appreciate it. And for all my live viewers, meet me, love you guys. YouTube, getting to love you guys, you know, becoming more of a presence over here. So thank you guys so much for being here. We have a great show for you today. You're going to find out about the astrology of the week. You're going to find out your horoscope for your week. If you are live on Meet Me and you spin me a wheel or you drop a 1K gift, you're getting a message, your spiritual message for the week as well, because I do tarot card readings, right? I am a psychic. And we're also going to talk about the good news of the week. And our topic is spiritual loss over weight loss. All right. Now, just a reminder to those of you that are on Meet Me, we know we got trolls. We got trolls everywhere we go. So if you are trolling, this is a featured stream and we have bouncers that will swiftly remove you from the stream. So you don't want that. You don't want that. You want to be here where all the cool kids are and you want to hang out, right? You want to hang out. So Alfred seems to be the most talkative in the comments. We're going to start it off with our affirmations for the week. Those of you that say hello as you come on in, you're going to get an affirmation. So Alfred, yours is, I am motivated. I am motivated. I trust that I know what is best for me. That is your affirmation of the week. All right. For those of you that are at home, I'm going to pull 3. So those of you that are listening on the recording, just think of the number 1, 2, or 3. And then this is your affirmation of the week. And don't forget, guys, those of you that are live, you can just say hello and you're going to get an affirmation as well. All right. For those of you that chose 1, your message is, I am mindful. I am mindful as I move through my day. My body, mind, and soul are aligned with my higher self. Beautiful. My body and soul and mind are aligned with my higher self. For those of you that chose card 2, hi. I am persistent. I am persistent. My potential is limitless. My potential is limitless. And those of you that chose card 3, I am powerful. I am powerful. I am becoming more understanding, conscious, and self-aware each day. We got some visitors that said hello. Shout out to Haley baby, your affirmation this week is I am worthy. I am worthy. I choose to show up fearless and true to my authentic voice. Congratulations, Haley. And then I saw Cajun. Cajun, I saw you say hello. Your message this week is I am aligned. I am aligned. Today, I choose to release all beliefs, people, and energies that no longer serve my highest and greatest good. Awesome. Cape Verde Queen, hello. Your message for this week I am enough. I am enough. I release the burden of shame and guilt and self-judgment. That's beautiful. That's such a powerful message, I think, for all of us, right? In fact, it leads me in quite nicely to my topic of today, which is spiritual loss over weight loss. So, how did I come up with this topic? Well, let me tell you, right? I have a bathroom scale in my bathroom that I don't even know why it's there. I think it's really to like measure, your luggage when you're going on those international trips. You can only have like 50 pounds, right, in your luggage, because I have not used that thing for so long. Solomon. So I saw it the other day. I was going in my bathroom to take a shower and I saw it and I said, you know what's funny? I said the world judges people, especially women. The world judges people, especially women, based on their physical appearances. And then people can feel really bad about themselves because if that scale is not budging, it can develop a complex in you, especially women, because a lot of women are told you have no worth unless you're beautiful, you're sexy, you're pretty, right? So when I looked at the scale, I thought, that's sad actually, that a woman could go on this scale and don't see her losing weight. But what about all the spiritual weight she has lost? Right? For those of you that are watching me live, put a 1 in the comments if you have let go of anything that was just unhealthy for you. It could be an unhealthy habit. Maybe you quit smoking, maybe you quit drinking, or maybe went down a notch in your drinking. Maybe, you quit swearing, right? Or what about those of you, put a 1 in the comments if you've let go of toxic relationships in your life. Maybe that friend wasn't such a friend and you realize it and you're just like, right, Tommy? Yeah. What about, unhealthy lifestyle, right? What if you started working out? Yeah, maybe the scale doesn't show you're losing weight, but you feel great, right? Because you're getting up, you're going on your walk, and you got more energy and you feel good in your body. That counts, right, guys? So that's my topic for this week is in what ways are you spiritually losing weight that could make you feel good? Because so what if you're not losing weight on the scale? And so what if people have their opinions about you? It doesn't matter, right, guys? How you feel about yourself is the most important thing. And that's a message, especially to this Meet Me community and to this YouTube community and Facebook, because those of you that go live or you're streaming and you just want to go live and have fun and share your gifts and your talents with the world, whether it's the way you talk or you have a skill like, I'm a tarot card reader, right? Or you're an educator. Maybe you want to teach people how to cook, or maybe you want to teach people about gardening, right? You shouldn't let your physical appearance stop you, or people who are lacking within themselves stop you. Because let's be clear, guys, the people who troll, they're not happy people. They don't have a lot of love in their life. They don't have a lot of joyous things to be happy about, right? They're called trolls for a reason. They're the bottom of the human chain, right? So we got to leave them there. We got to leave them there at the bottom of the food chain, and we just got to keep on elevating. Rob said, I am so glad you're saying it because I get challenged when I speak on it. No, we got to speak on it, right? Because my goal is to develop a community of spiritual warriors. My goal, and it doesn't matter whether your spirituality is Christianity, Hinduism, or you're just a spiritual person. It doesn't matter. I'm developing a community of spiritual warriors where we're saying no more to anything that blocks our peace, anything that makes us feel less than. We're just saying no, right? So you could stay over there in your unhappiness and your misery and just not affect my soul, right, guys? Put a 1 in the comments if you on that train. I know it's going to be hard here because there's a lot of people on the streaming apps that like the drama and stuff like that, but it is what it is. All right, guys, let's talk about the astrology of this week. All right, and I'm reading this from the Cosmic Weather Report. So let's check in with the sky right now. Today is Monday, November 10th. This week we have Jupiter retrograde in Cancer. Now, for those of you that don't study astrology, you might be like, what that mean, Uma? What that mean? Okay, it's expansion turning inwards. So with Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, it's asking what part of your emotional world needs nurturing before you grow again. And if you guys want to answer in the comments, you know, I like interactive shows. Don't have me sitting here talking to myself the whole time. Shout out to Rob for giving me some comments and some feedback. So here's the question that Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is asking you. What part of your emotional world needs nurturing before you grow again? Can I give you guys a little secret? My sleep needs nurturing before I grow again. I literally just woke up like not too long ago, took a shower and came on here. That's why my hair looks so disheveled. I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. I ran here. There was an option for me to just keep on sleeping and miss this show, right? But I was like, I can't miss this show. There's so many of you, even though you don't talk in the comments like Rob, there's so many of you that love this show and look forward to getting your insight for the week and your positive vibes to set your energy. So I said, yeah, let's do it. But if I had to ask myself what part of my emotional world needs nurturing before I grow, it would be the sleep. Now, aside from Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, we also have Uranus in Taurus. With Uranus in Taurus, it's asking us to move out of our comfort zones and redefine what stability and self-worth mean, right? Interesting that my topic for this week is, what's the topic? I just saw something flash on my screen. It says Lily gifted me, but I don't know. I think that was earlier. Is that Carl? Is Carl in the building? I think Carl is in the building. I didn't see the gift come across, Carl. I apologize. But I just saw something. There he is. Hi, Carl. Guys, I'm going to shout out Carl. He is my boss of the week, guys. He is my #1 boss of the week. So shout out to Carl. I didn't get my November backdrops yet, but you know you got your name on it. You got your name on it. And I'm also going to shout out my #2 and my #3. Shout out to Cape Verde Queen and Artman. I appreciate your support last week. Yes, I got you. Don't worry. So the astrology of this week, Uranus and Taurus is shaking you out of your comfort zones. My topic is spiritual weight loss over physical weight loss. And I'm asking you to redefine what your self-worth is. No one can define your self-worth, guys. Okay? No one can define your self-worth, only you. So when you get people trolling you, hey, Tyler, right? Let it just go over your head because, again, what the battles people are fighting have nothing to do with you. It's their own stuff that they're fighting. Don't let it bother you. Also, I want to give you guys a warning about this week because yesterday Mercury went into retrograde. Do you guys know about Mercury in retrograde? Mercury in retrograde happens about 3 times a year, and it tends to be disastrous when it goes into retrograde. We have, computer glitches. We have delays in travel. And the biggest thing is a lot of miscommunication or people being very emotional and quarreling with each other, fighting. So I've noticed in my own little, side study, right? I've noticed that especially on streams, that's when you see a lot of drama come out, right? Rob said, I've noticed that too. Yeah. So we can expect this week to be the next 3 weeks, because Mercury is going to be in retrograde from November 9th to the 29th. It's 3 weeks long. So buckle up. All right. Buckle up. What I would tell you to use the Mercury retrograde for is 1, do not make any assumptions. And 2, don't take anything personally, right? If someone puts a middle finger up at you, let it just fly over you, because that's a problem with themselves. That got nothing to do with you, especially if it's a stranger from the internet. So remember, Mercury retrograde is here this week, and it has us rethinking our habits, our communication, our wellness routines, and it may even have you revisiting old emotions. So some of you might be thinking about people from your past. Some of you might be reminiscing about situations in the past. All right. Now, here's the bad thing about Mercury retrograde is that sometimes I call it the return of the exes. The return of the exes. Now, not all of them want to come back and reconnect with you. By the way, I always tell people, don't reconnect with an ex in a Mercury retrograde, because they are feeling emotional. But once that retrograde's over, so is their time in your life. Okay. They're going to be out of there faster than you can say tamale. Okay. They're gone. So receive it for what it is. If you have people from your past showing up, hey, how are you? Hope you're fine. Hope you're doing well. I always pray for your success. Blessings to you, and keep it moving. All right. The reason why I feel the exes or the people from your past come back is because the universe is setting you up for a spiritual detox. It's a spiritual detox before your next upgrade. So take it for what it is, leave the rest. All right. Are we ready for our horoscopes this week? That is hilarious. All right, let's start with Aries. You know what's really cool? I always like to see which of the signs are the most, vocal. So drop your signs in the comments. You might have to write some of them out because I can't remember all of them. I know, terrible for like an astrologer, right? But I get some of them mixed up, right? So put your zodiac signs in the comments. I'm going to give you your weekly horoscope. All right, what's going on this week? Pisces is right in the front. Go ahead, CJ. Pisces is right in the front, followed by Leo. So this is coming to you from the Astro Twins on astrostyle.com. And this is your horoscope guidance for the week. Is that a Capricorn? I see. Capricorn sign, I know everywhere because, this Capricorn recognized game. Game recognized game. What's up, Exotic? Welcome into the building. All right, let's start with our horoscopes with Aries. Aries, this week, emotional balance matters more than the hustle. So rest before you burn out. Taurus, remember, we have Uranus and Taurus this week. It's stirring your comfort zone. So you're craving a change in routines. I know you don't like change, Taurus, but don't resist it. Go with the flow, okay? Gemini, Mercury retrograde might scramble your thoughts. Journal before reacting. By the way, Mercury retrograde tends to affect Gemini and Virgo the most because it is the ruling planet over Gemini and Virgo. So if you check on your Gemini and Virgo friends, okay? Cancer, Jupiter is in your sign this week, and it says nurture yourself like never before, healing over achievement. Leo, focus on boundaries, not the spotlight. The quiet work behind the scenes matters the most. Virgo, organize your emotions, not just your schedule. Declutter is called for inside and out. Libra, partnership lessons resurface. Communicate gently and listen twice before speaking. Scorpio, this is the month for Scorpio, right? Happy birthday to all the Scorpios out there. Shout out to my stepson. It's his birthday today. Joel, happy birthday. Scorpio, transformation continues, but choose grace, not control. Release with gratitude. Sagittarius, inspiration comes from slowing down, and silence restores your fire. Capricorn, revisit your self-care systems. Your body is asking for real rest. Aquarius, new perspectives spark through conversations. Stay curious, not defensive. And finally, Pisces, spiritual renewal arrives through simplicity. Meditate, hydrate, and surrender. All right. These are beautiful messages all around. Remember, guys, these are the weekly horoscopes from Astro Twins on astrostyle.com. Okay. So let's revisit our topic for today. Our main topic for this week is spiritual loss over weight loss. This week isn't about how your body looks, it's about how your spirit feels. And when I say spiritual loss, it means letting go, right? Letting go of old stories, right? How many of you heard that story when we were growing up? No pain, no gain. That's terrible, right? That's terrible. So we're essentially saying, unless it hurts, I can't gain, I can't win, I can't achieve, right? What about the story that self-worth equals perfection? I have to be on top of my game all the time, not a hair out of place, matching undies, everything has to be pristine, right? But that doesn't equate self-worth. Self-worth equates boundaries. Self-worth equates not today, right? Or what about this story? That rest means laziness. Because I know I'm a Capricorn. So I know there's a lot of work warriors out here, right? You work, work, work. And if you, goodness forbid, you take a rest, right? And then you're just like, oh, I feel so terrible. I'm so lazy. But when did that become a thing? That laziness is honoring my body, and my body is saying, I want sleep, I want rest, right? Exactly. So when you release these stories, guess what? You lighten your vibration. And ironically, your body begins to respond naturally without force, without shame. I say this all the time. The easiest times in my life that I lose weight is not the times that I am working out with a personal trainer and counting calories. It's when I relax, right? It's when I relax. And that's when it just falls off. So let's do a small reflection. Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, what emotional or energetic weight am I ready to release? Take a nice deep breath in and exhale that thought. That is your real weight loss, the invisible kind that shifts everything else. Okay? Awesome. Welcome in, everyone. This is Uma's Lotus Lounge. It's a featured stream here on the Meet Me app. We are also cross-posting to YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Hi, Facebook. Thank you, guys. And my podcast, the Lotus Lounge podcast. For those of you that don't know, I have a podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts called the Lotus Lounge. So if you guys want to check me out there, you are welcome to. We have past episodes you can re-listen to. All right, let's raise our vibration even higher. I have a feel good story that I want to share with you guys. Anytime that you watch positive things or you pay attention to positive things, it just raises your vibration even higher. And I found a story on Facebook that I just really loved, and I did do some research into it to make sure that it is true. And it is true because a lot of people were commenting that they personally knew this guy and what he's doing in their town. So here we go. Wal Aselwi is a deli owner in Staten Island, New York, and he is changing lives one report card at a time. It all started in 2023 when a kid named Zamir Davis ran into Zach's Finest Deli and Grocery, and he showed Wally, I think I'm messing his name up, Wally, his report card. Wally promised Samir, if you earn a 90% average and make the honor roll, you can get anything you want from the deli. This is in Long Island, guys. That simple promise sparked a movement called Grades for Grabs. Zamir worked hard to improve every day. By the end of the year, he got a 90% average and proudly made the honor roll. Zamir ran straight to Wally's deli shouting, "I told you I was going to do it." The emotional moment was captured on video and it went viral. It inspired other kids in the neighborhood to get better grades. And they also started going to the deli to show Wal their school report cards. At first, I think it's Whale is his name. At first, Whale was paying everything out of his own pocket until his brother, Nashwan, started a GoFundMe page because people wanted to help. And now that GoFundMe page has raised over $330,000 to reward kids for working hard in school. Students who earn a 90 plus average receive $100. And even the kids who improve from failing to passing also get $100. In an interview with Stay Inspired, Whale said, "I'm showing every single kid that it's not about perfection, it's about progress." So this is a picture of the New York deli owner, Whale, who raised over $330,000 to reward kids for good grades. All right. And shout out to anybody who is in the New York, Long Island area, right? If you can stop by Zach's Finest Deli and Grocery and drop a donation, I think that would be awesome. I'm pretty sure they probably have the GoFundMe online, and then you could contribute that way. So that is our feel good news of the week. But this is an interactive show, right? So if you have good news as well, please feel free to drop it in the comments. I am happy to read out loud your good news of the week. All right, guys, it is now time for my favorite part of this show. Let's see what the cards have and Spirit have for each sign this week. I'm going to pull one card and give you a message from your spirit guides for the week. Now, remember, if you drop a 1K gift, you get your bouncer status and you also get your personal message for the week. Lily, if you are in here, Carl, if you are in here by the end of the show, just let me know that you're still here, and I am happy to give you your own message for the week. Anyone else who wants to join that list, you got a good 10 minutes, all right? A good 10 minutes to drop that gift to get your message for the week. We're going to start with the earth signs. So here we go for Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, you got emotional loss, patience, and solitude. Oh, but before we get into that, Capricorn, I see we got some news of the week. My news is my mom found out on her birthday last week that her breast cancer was removed and no residual cancer showing up in her labs. Congratulations. That is for Cape Verde Queen. And congratulations to your mama. Success. Health is restored. I love that for you. Congratulations. All right, let's get into the messages for Capricorn. Capricorn, I feel like you're moving on from this emotional loss card, right? You may be feeling the need to be by yourself. You may feel the need to pull in, but your spirit guides are saying patience is key this week. This actually aligns with the Mercury retrograde that we're having this week, right? Sorry, it got like really cold all of a sudden. So this is aligning with the Mercury retrograde this week because Mercury retrograde is a time of pulling in, of getting quiet, of introspecting. So Capricorns, if that's what you're feeling, that is absolutely okay. I feel like that emotional loss, it may be recent or it may be the past that you're kind of like reliving and rehealing. So don't feel any type of way if you don't want to be around people. You just want to be by yourself this week, Capricorn. That is a-okay. All right. I just started. And remember, if you send a 1K gift, you can get your own personal message. Okay. 1K gift for your own personal message. I think the challenge today, because I always try to do it with the challenges, the challenge today is I have to get a monster hot rod from 5 viewers. And I already got 1, so I need 4 more. Welcome in. Hi, Nini. Okay. Taurus. Taurus, we have for you crown chakra, harmony, movements, choices, and decisions. I feel like relationships are on your mind this week, Taurus. Now, for some of you, it's positive news, right? You have your person and you're making decisions about really investing in that relationship. But remember, this is a general message, right? So this is not going to apply to all Tauruses. I feel for some Tauruses, you're getting ready to let go of someone. But the reason why you're letting go of them is because they're affecting your peace, you know? Absolutely. Right? So I feel like that's what that is I feel for you, Taurus, that you're making decisions this week and it's about protecting your peace. So for some of you, you're getting closer in that relationship. And for some of you, you're actually letting go. Virgo, we have awareness for Virgo, accelerated motion, and stand your ground. Stand your ground. Yes, I did say absolutely because I am 26K away from my next level up. I'm hoping to hit it in my featured show because how cool would that be, right? To hit my and I'm gonna wear somebody's name for the whole week, so that would be awesome. Okay, Virgo. It seems to be a very spiritual week for you. Those purple cards are about your spirituality, and the awareness card is about your intuition growing and expanding. So I feel, Virgo, that I feel like pretty much all of the earth signs are going in this week. And have you guys noticed that, right? That people are just kind of pulling away. I know my stream on here. I see a lot of my familiar faces. They probably miss me because I haven't really been on streams a lot. I've just been in my own mindset and I have been doing exactly that, just kind of like taking time to meditate and process and journal and reflect, right? Mercury retrograde is in the building, right? You're fine. So stand your ground, accelerated motion, awareness. I feel like Virgo, you're putting up boundaries after some time alone, thinking and processing about what's important to you. So, Virgo, this week, if people are like rubbing you the wrong way, don't feel afraid to speak up, speak your mind, and say, that doesn't work for me, right? Because this is the time to do it. You're learning how to defend yourself. And I also feel for Virgo, it's not just physically defend yourself, but spiritually as well. Okay. All right. Let's go to the water signs. Do we have any water signs in here? Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Pisces, here is your message for the week. You are moving on. You have memories of love, right? New beginnings, and prosperity begins. I feel Pisces, like you're such an old soul, right? And I feel sometimes like when people do you wrong, you let it linger for longer than it's supposed to because you can see that person's soul, right? So it's like you're just kind of in this place of, you know what? I'm going to let it rock. They don't mean that. They're going to feel bad about it later. Like that's just the way you are. You're just very forgiving, very understanding, right? But something about this week is making you feel as well like the Virgos, I don't need this. I don't need to put up with this. So it's time for me to start anew. And guess what? It's going to actually work out well for you because whoever that person is, or whatever that situation is, Pisces, it was draining your energy. Do you see? You got prosperity begins. So by letting go of that person or that thing and stepping out into a new beginning, right? Into a new beginning. It's like, wow, here comes all the abundance the universe wants to send me. So it's looking good for you, Pisces. Let's move on to Cancer. Wow. Cancer, you have suffering in silence, positive movement forward, and destiny. So I feel like with Cancer, you may be going through a pain that you're not telling people or you're choosing to deal with it quietly. But what you're also doing, Cancer, what you're also doing is you're on your path. This is towards your fate. So, whatever this thing is that is painful for you, look at it from a bigger perspective. Okay, yes, this hurts me right now. I'm not talking to people about it. I'm keeping this close to my heart. But I also have the awareness that this is part of my spiritual evolution. This is part of my self growth, right? So, for Cancer, oh, Dane, are you Cancer? Dane just said, I just got out of a relationship. Yeah. For whatever reason, yeah, he's Cancer. Look at that. Whatever reason, that relationship was not part of your destiny, right? And by getting out of it, it now puts you back on track. So thank you so much for speaking up because I was like, I like when people speak up while they're watching live. It can give me like an actual situation to show you what the cards mean for the group, right? So, Cancers, there you go. Whatever you're being asked to release right now, it may be painful, but look at it from the bigger picture from your soul and see this is going to be good in the long run. You're welcome. All right, Scorpios. Scorpios. And just to my Meet Me people, I do readings on my Meet Me streams, but just let you know, during the week if you get a stream reading, it's 2K for a reading during the week. But in my show, my featured show, which is Mondays at 5 p.m., it's 1K. So it's 50% off. All right. That's why people like come in and tend to spin wheels and get their reading now. All right, Scorpio, you got rest and rejuvenate. Okay. Authority and financial and material changes. Rest and rejuvenate, authority, and financial and material changes. So, Scorpio, you're taking a break this week. I feel like, Scorpio is such a deep sign, and people always underestimate Scorpio. Like a lot of people like to list the negative traits of Scorpio. Oh, they're manipulative, they're scheming, you can't trust them. But I like to look at the positive in everything. And with Scorpio, I feel like they're very deep individuals. They don't like that surface level stuff, right? So they're not going to hang around you if all you know is just surface stuff. They want depth in their relationships. So I feel for Scorpio, you're taking a break this week and you're getting a lot of intuitive hits and a lot of guidance about what your next steps should be. And because of that, you're going to actually be making some changes. So if you find Scorpio this week that like the first half is you're just kind of chilling, relaxing, contemplating, maybe meditating, right? Hi, John. And then the latter half of the week, you're like in busy mode, getting things done, squaring away stuff, organizing, decluttering. That's why you're resetting your energy this week and you're making changes that better suit you. Okay. So we did the earth signs and we did the water signs. It is time for the fire signs and the air signs. So if I have fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or I have air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, drop your comments and let me see which one I'm going to do next. All right? Let's see who's in here and we're going to cater to them. We got an Aquarius. We got a Leo. It's tied. We got a Leo and an Aquarius. We got two Leos. Ooh. Any more air signs? Oh, Cape Verde. Unfortunately, the fire signs win. We're going to go with the fire signs. Right, exactly. So fire signs, you guys are up. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Let's see. Aries, here we go. All right. Aries, we have mental conflict, obstacles and challenges, material and spiritual prosperity. I feel like this week you guys are having a block to your flow, to your abundance. And I really feel, Aries, that you are being stubborn. All right? You are being stubborn, Aries. That's what's going on. You're clinging very tightly to your beliefs. You're clinging very tightly to what you know. And because of that, it is blocking your blessings. All right? It is blocking your blessings. So the idea, Aries, is you want to get over this mental conflict. Whatever this mental block is, you want to get over it. And I feel that, I'm a healer, right? So if you were here in Virginia, I would say, oh, come on in, get an Access Bars session, right? But wherever you are, Aries, do the work to clear your thoughts. If you don't feel good within yourself about what you're thinking about, you have to change the way you're looking at it. Okay, Aries, you got to change the way you're looking at it, because if you don't, you're going to keep going down this road of obstacles and challenges, and then you're going to keep blocking your prosperity. All right? So that's the message for Aries this week. Leo is moving on. Trapped in fear. Okay. Financial and material changes. And authority. I always think of this as a big Leo card. It's not a Leo card, but I just think of it as a Leo card. Okay. This week, Leo, I feel like there was something that was on your mind that had you in that trapped in fear card. So it might have been something perplexing to you, right? Something that just really had you stumped for a while. But the energy is here this week. You remember, Uranus is in Taurus, and that is usually an astrological transit that brings about change, especially change to habits. So I feel, Leo, that whatever it is that you were circulating on, it's going to come to a head this week. You're going to get clarity and insight about this thing. And then with that big Leo energy, you're just going to make the moves. You're just going to make the moves without any sort of hesitation. All right. So, congratulations, Leo. You are moving through a block, but it's not a financial block or a physical block or a spiritual, it's a mental block you're moving through. And because of that, we're going to see you really make some changes as well. Okay. All right. And let's go to Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Wow. Wow. We get the fertility card, which is the Empress card in traditional tarot. Transformation. Wow. And disruption. Disruption. So you are creating, Sagittarius. You know, Sagittarius is a very expansive sign. So I feel like you're creating, you have all these thoughts just flooding in. Maybe it's inspired thoughts, maybe it's your spirit guides, maybe you're channeling, right? And because of that, you're taking these ideas and you're transforming with them. That's why you get the transformation card. But all of this is happening on an energetic level. So it's not like maybe, because this is this is a general reading for everyone. So maybe there are some Sagittarius people that are actually like moving, relocating. So all of that upset, that upheaval is what's causing the disruption, right? But for most of the Sagittarius, I feel like that fertility card, the Empress card is usually about giving birth to your dreams. So I feel like for the Sagittarius people, you're giving birth to your dreams and it's creating a transformation in your life. And that transformation is, what is it doing? It is disrupting your flow, your habits, your comfort zone. And that's why you have the disruption. So usually we look at the disruption card, the Tower card, as a bad card, right? Nobody likes disruption. But now we can see the bigger scheme of it and we see why it's happening. You're moving up a level. All right, Sagittarius, you're moving up a level, and that's why you have those cards. All right, those are the fire signs. I hope the fire signs enjoyed their message for the week. Now we're going to go to the air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. All right, Aquarius. We have discontentment and boredom. Love begins. And shadow. Now this is a telling spread, because basically your emotions are not where you want it to be. Thank you, Rob. He said the Leo reading was fire. I like the play on words, the double entendre. So the discontentment and boredom, right, Aquarius, tells me that your emotions are not of the highest level. It's not of the highest vibration. But there's a reason for that. And I'll tell you the reason in a second. The good news is that that energy is going to change midweek. Love begins says self-love coming in, loading. But for some Aquarians, this can even indicate finding love. This can be a new love prospect, right? Somebody that is interested in you romantically, you know? Now, the reason for that is the shadow period, right? This is the shadow side, right? The shadow side of life. And I feel with the shadow side, like everybody has a dark side. We call it the shadow side. And I feel like Aquarians, you're coming to terms with what your shadow side is this week. Now, guys, we don't ever completely heal our shadow side. Like if you ever meet somebody who said, oh, I've done all my shadow work and I'm completely healed, they're lying. Okay. We have different things. You could have, a shadow side about the shadow work to do about your self-worth. You could have shadow work to do about how you feel about money. You could have, you know what I'm saying? There's so many different things. So something is clearing this week, but I feel it's pertaining to love relationships, how you love, what you expect in love, what you expect in a partner, right? There may have been some shadow work there that you haven't really addressed. And because we're in a Mercury retrograde, what does Mercury retrograde do? Thank you, right? It asks you to reflect, to introspect, to pay attention to the parts of your unhealed self that keep showing up. That's why we love Mercury retrogrades. It's a time out from life to say, hey, how could I be better? Right? So, your shadow side, shadow work is coming up for you this week around matters of the heart. Follow the cue, right, Aquarians? Follow the cue and do the necessary work. All right, Geminis. Geminis are booming this week. Geminis, you have solar plexus chakra. You have material harvest. You're welcome. And you have accelerated motion. So Geminis, you are just killing it this week. The solar plexus chakra is your personal power. It's the saying, Jesus said it in the Bible, right? You have to be in this world, but not of this world, right? You have to be in this world, but not of this world. And that is what is happening with the solar plexus chakra this week for Geminis. It's being illuminated. It's being worked on, right? So now Geminis are going to bump up in their personal power, right? Their self-esteem is going to be at an all-time high. Their confidence is going to be an all-time high. And because of that, we're going to have accelerated motion spiritually, which leads to the actual material harvest, right? Material harvest. So it looks like a really good week for Geminis because it feels like you guys are just getting in alignment and you're not letting anybody bother you about your self-worth. You're staying in your high vibing place. And now the universe wants to bless you by sending lots of harvest your way. Okay. That is for Geminis. And then finally, our last sign is Libra. Libra, you have a hurry up and wait week. A hurry up and wait week. You got stand your ground, right? Memories of love, and patience and planning. So, Libras like balance. I always say this, like Libras we need balance for everything to be okay. So this isn't just one topic. We have several topics here. The first topic is Libras are putting up energetic boundaries. I have a Libra man and I love when I see him do this because what he does is Libras are very diplomatic. They don't like to just, you see, I'm a Capricorn. I'm going to tell it to your face. If I don't like you, I don't like you. I'm going to just tell you, I don't like you. It is what it is. Let's move on, right? But a Libra, they're not going to tell you they don't like you. They're just going to find ways to avoid you, right? That's the diplomacy of a Libra. So with the stand your ground, this is an energetic stance. This week, we find the Libras reflecting on the people and things that zap their energy. And they're just choosing to drift away from whatever that is. And they're also having some nostalgia because the memories of love card is about remembering the past. So it could be, remember I told you Mercury retrograde, right, is here. And Mercury retrograde, we have return of the exes or return of people from your past. So more than likely, we have people coming in for the Libra life that are from their past. And the Libras, they're not going to say, I don't want nothing to do with you, right? They're just going to drift away and not have anything to do with those people. Right. Fade into the bushes like Homer. I love it. Now, the other part for the Libras, right, is patience and planning. So this tells me that you guys are working really hard, but you may not be seeing any results. And that is okay. That is okay, because the patience and planning card literally says what you're working towards, you're going to get. Think of like harvest, right? When you plant a seed, you got to give it some time to grow. You got to water it. You got to put it in a good sunny place. You got to make sure there's no animals around to dig it up. Like, you have to take care and you have to constantly work, but there's no reward until that one day that seed sprouts and turns into a plant, and then that plant bears fruit, right? So Libras, don't worry if you're working really hard and you're not seeing any results. You will. You will in time, but just keep doing what you're doing because you are well on your way. All right? Those are the messages for all 12 zodiac signs. All right? Hi, Matt. So before I end my show, I'm going to be doing readings for Meet Me. If you guys spin a 1K wheel, you can get your own personal message. If you missed your zodiac message, you can get it on my recording. Or if you just want your own personal message for the week, you can spin a wheel and we'll get that going. But for those of you that are watching on YouTube and Facebook and listening to my podcast, I just want to tell you about some things we have going on this week. Tonight, actually, Monday, November 10th, I have my psychic development beginner class, an introduction to pendulums. So if you have a pendulum and you want to learn how to use it, you can go to my website, thelotusandthelight.com. You can still sign up and join us at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, Tuesday, is Veterans Day. Or is today Veterans Day? Tomorrow is Veterans Day. Shout out to the veterans and the military. Thank you for your service. Right? Thank you. So tomorrow I am teaching Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 at my center, the Lotus and the Light Metaphysical Center. So if you are ready for your Reiki attunement, your Reiki healing classes, feel free to reach out again through my website, thelotusandthelight.com. On Wednesday, we have an online meditation and mantra class. So for those of you that are ready to learn meditation and you want to learn how to use mantra, that is an event that's going to happen at 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening. And my big event this month is on Saturday, November 15th. We are doing the Manaiki Shamanic Initiations. So if you would like to receive all 9 rites of Manaiki Shamanic Initiations, please feel free to go to my website, sign up now, and you will get your manual today. I'm actually sending out the manuals today to the students because they have to read the manual for this week and then come to class to receive their 9 initiations. All right. I want to thank all of you that have been watching me live for this show. Thank you for those of you that are listening to the recordings. I really appreciate all the support. And I'll see you guys around. Until next week, don't forget, guys, you are always the lotus flower rising through the mud. So share your beauty with the world. Don't let that mud stop you. And may peace, love, and light guide your path today and every day. Namaste.